What's up, everybody? It's Sid and Millie back with another episode, back to talk about another World Cup game that we just
Facts.
watched.
Yeah.
So we had the Portugal and Spain game on today. So Millie, you
Yeah.
want to start us off?
Yeah, definitely. I think, the Portugal and Spain game, there's a lot of anticipation going into this game because these two are supposed to be, heated rivals.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, their proximity in Europe and their history makes them natural, pitted
Of
rivals.
course.
But yeah, I think the game was massively underwhelming. I think we were expecting, you know, kind of a bit of a rocket show, especially coming off of the England Mexico game last night. I think everybody was expecting both teams to come out flying and attacking and throwing it all at the wall with goals on both ends. I kind of thought it was going to be a goal fest with both
Yes.
teams, having, Spain comfortably winning their last game 3-0.
Right.
And with all the players Portugal have, you kind of have that expectation of goals.
I
And
know, like no Ronaldo goal, like
yeah, and so
nothing.
yeah, it was a massively underwhelming game, I think, from both sides. I don't think either side, obviously Spain won. I'm sure they'll be happy that
Of
they got the one
course,
and
of
like snuck it out, but
course.
I think even they will probably be a bit underwhelmed with the way that they
I
they played.
mean, yeah.
But yeah, I think for me, the team that had the most to lose was Portugal. Spain's got a lot of young players, a lot of guys that are coming up. They're going to be fine for a little while. But I
Okay.
think, Portugal is a team, they have players that are stars right now, impact players right now that this team is star studded with players from
Yeah.
Premier League to French League, like PSG players. There is no excuse for the way Portugal have played football throughout this tournament. And it is more of what we saw even at the Euros a couple of years ago. And the fact that the Portuguese Footballing Federation decided to stick with Roberto Martinez speaks volumes to their lack of ambition.
Mm,
Because there is no way, after watching this Portuguese team for years, you could think that this guy is going to win them a World Cup. It is just
yikes.
baffling to me. We saw it with Belgium even further long ago. And again, no shade to Roberto Martinez. He's just not the guy for this job. And for me personally, I think it is very clear when superstar players who perform well at the club level are underneath a new manager and he cannot get the best out of them. I mean,
Mm,
between Vitinha and Shao Neves, you have two Champions League winners on in your midfield. And then in Bruno Fernandes, you have a midfielder with the most assists in Premier League history on your field. That is your midfield three.
facts.
Someone explain to me how you can make that midfield three not creative, not dynamic, not dangerous.
I
I mean, it is baffling. I
come
mean, it
on.
looked like Bruno Fernandes when he was playing under Amarim. That's what it looked like. Handcuffs on, no creativity, no true spark. I just don't even know. I
Yeah.
mean, it was disappointing seeing the way he was utilized, but also these PSG midfielders who, with their club team, are so dynamic in the midfield. I mean, the way they play with their club and they pass and they move, they take space, they take players on, they shoot from distance, they score from distance. That's how they play with their club team. That
Mm,
is why PSG has won the Champions League two
wow.
years in a row.
So then what's happening with Portugal?
That's why it's got to be the manager. Their system
Mm,
is garbage. It is all about the possession stat with this guy. For whatever reason, possession stats don't freaking win you games. Like, I don't understand why that is such a difficult concept to grasp in big 2026 when
yeah.
we have literally decades of footballing footage which you can draw from to understand that possession is not necessary to win games.
Yeah.
And you can still maintain possession or be the possession dominant team in a game, but utilize that possession in a dangerous way. It's
Mm,
called possession with a purpose. That is what it has to be. So many times, Neto, other Portuguese wingers, they get to the corner of the 18. You've got Ronaldo standing in the box. No one wants to cross the ball. I
nope.
mean, it's been 4 games at the World Cup. How has the manager the coaches, even the players not recognize that they're not creating enough chances.
Right.
It's just baffling to me.
I know.
They just did not have any urgency when it came to attacking. Even at the end of the game, after Spain scored their goal, it's like, send the ball forward. They're still playing sideways passes,
Yeah.
even when the game is almost done and everything is on the line. Ping the ball into the box, brother.
Please.
I mean,
what are we doing?
Just baffling. And again, comes down to the managerial style, because they are too comfortable of just maintaining possession and not creating anything out of it. It drove me crazy with Amorim. I don't know if it's a Portuguese thing, but it is not the way to win games at these big tournaments at all.
Yeah.
It is not the right way. You have to be dynamic. You have to have midfielders making second runs in behind, supporting Ronaldo, trying to play. It doesn't even matter if it was Ronaldo. It could have been Ramos out there. The Portuguese team did not create any chances for their number 9. It didn't matter who was out there. It could have been Boo Boo the Fool. It doesn't matter. They weren't creating chances for that player in the way that they were playing. No crosses, no playing off the point man, no runs in behind from midfielders, no shots from distance. I mean, no early crosses from outside, the edge of the box, corner of the 18. No, it's like everything had to be the exact same way. If it didn't get to the end line for a cutback, then let's just maintain possession. Garbage. Absolute garbage. Where is the creativity? Neves, shoot. Bruno, shoot. Anybody. Please.
Anybody.
I mean, for God's sakes, you're at the World Cup on the biggest stage, and it's like all of the Portuguese players turned off their footballing brains. And I don't like, the system just does not allow for them to play a style of football that is beneficial to them. Even today, against a team that is better at maintaining the ball. So Spain had large possession periods in the game where they were the ones knocking the ball around, whatever. Even when Portugal would win the ball back and have an opportunity to counter, it's like they're countering, and then as soon as they get to the 18-yard box, they pick their heads up, no one's around, so okay, let's recycle it. You've blown all of your forward momentum. No urgency to go and attack, to try and score, to try and create something. Nobody wanted to take the responsibility. And it isn't just one person's fault. What it looked like was a bunch of players trying to follow a system that was not working. And a Portuguese team does not need a bunch of system players. It should have allowed their creative, dynamic players to express themselves and express what their talents truly are. And somehow none of them were able to do that.
Yeah.
Rafael Leao didn't even get opportunities to run at people when he was eventually subbed out. It's just like, these are players that start for their club teams and are instrumentally important for their club teams at the club level. And somehow they've got to their national team, which is supposed to be the pride and all of this stuff, and it's like all of their blades are dull now.
Yeah, they're like being stifled by the manager, presumably, like you said.
It has to be. It's the only thing. Like, you can't really say anything about Ronaldo in terms of this. It wasn't his age. It wasn't his lack of pressing. It wasn't any of that. It was the fact that Portugal didn't have any interest in creating opportunities, not just for Ronaldo, but for anybody. We rarely saw even Bruno get in behind and Bruno have shots from distance, or Bruno getting assists and creating stuff.
Did he even take a shot, Bruno? No. Yeah.
Nah, he had one that hit the side netting, so it wasn't on target. But yeah, it's like, for there to be this many creative players that do this on a week in, week out basis for their club teams, and then now they get to the country level, and it's like they're unable to do any of that. It is just mind blowing. I mean, the possession they maintained was worthless. It's like you're passing backwards to center backs and defensive mids who are under pressure, who then make a poor decision, and then you've lost possession again, when instead you're at the corner of the 18 and you could have whipped in a cross and had their defenders facing their own goal and made something a little tricky for them. And instead of doing that, you were okay with going backwards. Why?
Literally, why?
Why? It was just baffling watching Portugal play at this World Cup. And again, to see them play and not solve for these issues yet again. It is the manager. He has to go. Roberto Martinez has to go. And more than that, no national team that has witnessed his career with national teams should hire this guy. I'm sorry. But the proof is in the pudding with what we're seeing. The Belgium team, De Bruyne's heyday at the peak of De Bruyne's career, ruined. The peak of Lukaku's career. They were the Belgian national team were the dark horses at every World Cup. Wasted opportunities because they played poor football under this manager.
Damn.
And the same guy has now taken that same philosophy that didn't work back then and has applied it to another team with unbelievable star power.
Wow.
And has somehow made them look bang average. I mean, I don't know if this Portugal team, I mean, we saw that how the Congo tied this Portugal team, right? And Congo, in large parts, was actually the better team in the game. So it's like we're seeing a Portuguese team that is being prevented from reaching their potential. And with the players they have, there's no excuse for it.
No.
They massively underperformed, not just in the result, losing in the round of 16, but their performances as a team were subpar, barring the 1-5-0 game.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that game was crazy. And you know what changed in that game?
They did not start Bernardo Silva, Bernardo Silva was involved in the string of fouls that led up to Spain's goal, inevitably, because he came on the field and decided to just start fouling people for fun. And then obviously missed a big chance at the end of the game. Not a big Bernardo Silva fan over here at all, but I digress with that because again, said that for a while. And it's just, again, even the way Rafael Leao was utilized, he had a great assist in one of the earlier games in the last round, specifically to get Portugal into this game. It was such a key assist at a very important part of the game. But I still just feel like a left-footed player with his skill, with his speed, with his ability, can he not be dynamic across the front three? Can he not pop up on the right side of the field and cut it on his left and shoot sometimes? I just feel like there was a lack of dynamics in the team, a lack of that ability to adjust to what's happening in the game.
Yeah.
If you've lost your one-on-one battle with your outside back 3-4 times, it's time to get a different perspective.
True.
Wander over to the other side of the field. Tell the other attacking, tell them to go over there, give it a shot, or slide into the center. Tell one of the attacking mids to go occupy your space. Like, I just miss that brand of football that used to exist where players were very pivotal in their positions and they weren't just glued to one position on the field. Back when players were able to swap with their right back for a few, and you didn't have to worry about that. And, you also knew the right back could still get a shot off. I think, even Dallo, God bless him.
Did
I feel
he
like he did. He got subbed on. But I'm saying that to say even Dallo, he's a starter with Manchester United. We know what he can bring. He can bring shots from distance. He can bring crosses. And even he was underutilized at this World Cup. I mean, you've got Ronaldo in the box. He's someone who will challenge for headers and things like that. Wouldn't you want someone who can serve the ball into the box to be playing?
You would think so? As much as I'll complain about Dallo taking shots in games, at least he's taking shots.
At least he's taking shots. And at trying something. And in these moments, in these games, when you needed a player who was willing to take that risk, that could have been great. I mean, imagine a shot from distance takes a ricochet and falls at Ronaldo's feet, right? Portugal will never know if that's even a possibility because at no point in this tournament was shooting from distance even on the table from them. They never shot from distance.
Dang.
I don't even know if I even saw a 1-2 with Ronaldo where a second runner ran in behind for the attacking mid to pass into. Like, I just don't even think they had those sorts of ideas in their wheelhouse. And again, with the players they had, this Portuguese team is a superstar team. Probably comparable to some of the teams Ronaldo would have played with in his early teenage days
Wow.
with this Portuguese national team.
Wow.
That is the caliber of players they have in Bruno, in Fedina, in Neves, and yet wasted.
Yeah.
So, just massively, massively disappointing. And as we know, this was Ronaldo's last World Cup. And I think it's even more disappointing that knowing that fact that it was Ronaldo's last World Cup, all the stops should have been taken out, sub off a midfielder, go to 3 in the back, send people forward, ping balls into the box, make it uncomfortable for Spain. They didn't even attempt that.
Yeah.
They didn't even really try to do that. And I think it just speaks volumes to how underwhelming Portugal was. And I think it really is just a reflection of the manager. Because they have the players for it. And Definitely. We're going to watch all of these players return to their club teams after this World Cup and have phenomenal seasons. And I think that is just going to further highlight how much of a failure this World Cup was for Portugal.
Yeah, truly.
But yeah, for Spain, they created some decent opportunities. Lamine Yamal kind of got shut down by Mendes in the for a majority of the game until the injury he picked up, obviously. Spain, they've got potential. They're a good footballing team. I think they had a lot of situations where they had cutbacks and they just don't have a number 9. There's no one there to finish those.
Okay.
It's ironic because if the roles were reversed, Ronaldo would have been tapping those in for Portugal, but Portugal just never did not create those sorts of opportunities. Spain did decent enough, and they eventually got rewarded, because they did have opportunities to score throughout the match.
Yeah.
My focus was really on Portugal and that being the big letdown, because you kind of expect Spain to still play a certain brand of football, and I think they did that. They did exactly what you expect from Spain. They played on brand. They got it done.
Yeah.
But for Portugal, I think there was a lot of opportunity to take the reins of this tournament by beating Spain, making a statement, and showing what these players are truly capable of, and they just didn't do it.
Yeah. So.
That was disappointing, but to Bruno, to Dallo, go get rest, go enjoy your vacation, get your heads up. Big things ahead of you coming this season for Manchester United. There's a Premier League title on the table. Mm-hmm. It's up for you guys to go win it. You guys are integral members of the Manchester United team, so do not let this Portuguese performance be a reflection of you as a player. You guys are phenomenal and have big roles in the Manchester United locker room. So rest up, get ready for preseason, and Bruno especially, can't wait to see you back in red.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are our thoughts on the Portugal-Spain game. Portugal getting eliminated from the World Cup and Ronaldo's last World Cup in his career. So yeah, big day.
Facts. Yeah. Sure. Wow. Crazy. So if you made it this far,
thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.